Okay, I think we are live right now, so that should be good. Let me just double check. Okay, people, I'm going to share my screen right now. And today it seems like we have only 2 members joining us. And if we have more people, definitely, we'll be happy to host them. But for right now, it's just Priyanshu and Shravan. I'm going to share my Slido link so that we have something up on screen as I'm talking and talking as well. Okay. Okay, my computer seems to be acting up. Just give me a minute. Should hopefully sort itself out. All right. So hopefully you can hear me. And this is what I'm sharing here. If possible, you don't have to call yourself anonymous. You can just put in a name, at least a first name, because that will make it a little bit more personable. The first question is, are there any MBA colleges accepting 2 years of experience to the GMAT? See, the point is this. The lowest or rather the youngest member of the class will probably have 2 years of experience at most top colleges. But having said that, if you have a very mainstream kind of background, which means you're in IT or you're in consulting or you're in financial services or anything of that sort, 2 years is usually not sufficient to actually demonstrate the kind of leadership experiences and the kind of accomplishments that a top college will require. So when I say top college, I'm talking about something in the top 20 if you're talking about the US, or maybe the top 10 or 15 if you're talking about Europe. ISB, I believe, will have an early entry option. So you can apply even before you have 2 years of experience. But again, you need to have a good GMAT. Does that answer your question, or is there any clarification that is further required?
Yes, but technical support experience, will it be considered a mainstream for getting into consulting?
See, the point is whatever you're telling me is definitely mainstream. And it is very competitive because there's going to be quite a few people with similar backgrounds who will be applying. So I really recommend that you have 3 to 4 years plus a good GMAT. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So the next question here is, what are some of the aspects which we should put in the essay if I want to pursue an MBA for pivoting into sustainability consulting? See, I mean, it all really depends on your background. If you have some background in sustainability, definitely it becomes much easier because then you can share insights of projects that you worked on. If you don't have aspects of sustainability in your background, then I mean, if you're in an allied background, that also becomes sort of possible. But if you have like a wide gulf between where you are and where you want to get, then I would advise you talk about something else in your essays. And then after you get into college, maybe you can get into sustainability consulting if, if you're able to work out the right contacts in the companies that you're interested in. Does that answer your question? I think that was Shravan, maybe, right?
Yeah, Karthik, that was my question. And regarding the background, I mean, so I've written it in the next question. Actually, I have 7 years of experience in oil and gas sector. So like I'm actually looking for careers that would be more appropriate for me after MBA, and like sustainability consulting kind of attracted me. So I thought maybe having an MBA would help me get into one of these consulting companies. So I thought maybe I could leverage my years of experience in the energy sector and get there.
Yeah,
Like,
if you have
what is
relevant
your
experience, that will be useful, Shravan. If
no,
your
actually, I
experience,
have pure operations experience. Like I'm from refinery, one of the refineries,
okay,
Indian refineries. So
okay,
like I have never been into a core sustainability consulting role, but maybe I have been into projects inside the refinery where sustainability is a part of the project.
okay. What do you mean by that?
I mean, when it comes to sustainability, it's kind of energy efficiency in the first is the first aspect. So I've been involved in projects where the project is actually implemented for increasing the efficiency of refinery, thereby reducing its energy demand. So I was involved in such kind of projects, but then it is not pure consulting kind of thing. But that is why I'm a little skeptical.
See, I
whether,
mean, it's hard for me to comment with this level of detail.
Okay.
Typically, what happens is when somebody starts working with us, I would have a lot more information about their background. And even if they have worked on some projects, I'll be able to see what kind of depth they have gotten into, right? So whatever you're telling me is possibly connected. It is possibly not sufficiently connected also. I mean, it really depends on the context, okay? What I mean by that is, to a large extent, operations projects are about increasing efficiency, right? I mean, across the board. Whether you work for Amazon trying to operate, make the operations more efficient, essentially what you're meaning is, if I book something on Amazon, let's say a book, and it's in Calcutta right now, currently they're taking 2 days to deliver it to me. Can they get it to me in 1 day, right? I mean, that's one definition of efficiency. Okay, they're getting it to me in 1 day. Currently, it is costing them around 100 rupees per book to transport it from Calcutta to me in Chennai. Can they do it for 80 rupees, right? I mean, so the first one was time efficiency. The second one was financial efficiency. And then, okay, fine. They're transporting it by airplane. So much fuel is being spent per package delivery. Can they reduce the fuel being spent, right? I mean, so in many ways, any operational job is about improving efficiencies, right? So now, how much of depth have you gotten yourself involved in? That definitely comes into play. Are you the only person, or are you part of a team? And what is your footprint, right? So we'll have to evaluate some of these things. And if it looks like you have, if it's like a major part of your job, and if you have sufficient expertise, then yeah, I mean, naturally, sustainability consulting is an outcome. But if it looks like it's a minor part of your job, and then there's other things which are very routine that are a major part of your job, then that may not be the best thing. And really, the other thing I want to talk about is you don't have to talk about goals that you're interested in necessarily. At the time of application, I would advise people to talk about goals that are very relevant to their background. Not 100% relevant, because then the question is, why are you even doing an MBA? But let's say about 50% match with your background, and 50%, you'll pick up skills from your MBA. So if you talk about goals like this, that makes it easier for the college to give you an admit. And once you get into college, then what you do after that is your own, objective. The college is not going to come back to you and say, hey, you know what, Shravan, you wrote this in your essay 2 years ago. Now you can't change paths. No, nobody's going to tell you that. So make it easier for them to give you an admit right now. As to whether the sustainability consulting is possible or not, that we'll have to do a deeper examination of your background. Yeah.
Thank you, Karthik.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? I mean, usually we have around 6 or 7 people, but today I think it's just 2 of us. 2 guests and me. Any other questions, Priyanshu or Shravan?
Yeah. So if I start working with you, I mean, if I if we start working together for admit, so how does this process actually go on? I mean, what inputs would you require from me, and how does this entire evaluation and school selection and further drafting resume or CV or and making the essays or application and even the interview part. So how does August Academy actually helps us in this aspect?
Sure. So I'll take maybe about 10 minutes to explain this. I'll start with a 2 to 3 minute introduction. So, ideally we should have started it at the beginning itself. I thought more people will join, so I was postponing the introduction and all. So thanks, Shravan. Thanks, Priyanshu. This is Karthik, and I've been running August Academy out of Chennai. We've been in business since 2013. And primarily, about 99% of the people that we work with are of Indian origin. And we have targeted top 25 to top 30 colleges across the world, right? So that includes the top 15 to 20 in the US and the top 5 to 10 in Europe, all right? Not saying those are the only colleges we work with. We have worked with people who are looking at top 50 and top 100 colleges as well. But maybe the mix is around 65 to 70% of our candidates target a top 25 to 30. And then around 30% will target something outside of that, okay? So we've had people getting into Harvard, we've had people getting into Chicago, both Kellogg, MIT, Columbia, Darden, Ross, Tuck, most colleges in the top 15 in the US, all colleges in the top 5 in Europe, which is INSEAD, London Business School, Oxford, Cambridge, HEC, IE, ISC, NSID, IMD as well. Within India, we've had people getting into ISB and the executive programs at IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore. And we've also had people getting into NUS, NTO, and SMU, right, in Singapore, and same in HKUST as well. So across the board, across all geographies, all top colleges. Now, about my background, I have a bachelor's from IIT and a PhD from Stanford. I spent about 4 or 5 years in the corporate sector. I was getting really bored with it because I thought I wasn't being given the responsibility that I desired. And that is roughly when I decided to take the GMAT and apply for an MBA. Got a 770, and then I got into the exec MBA program at Stanford. It used to be called the Sloan Fellows at that time. Now I think they're calling it the MSX, right? Due to a few personal circumstances, I couldn't take it up. But the same year is when I started August Academy. So this was 2013, right? Now, how does the entire process work, right? Once you start working with us, my first step is I need to understand your background. So I have about 11 questions for which I would require your answers, right? Across the board, we are talking about around 1,500 to 2,000 words of writing. This is for all 11 questions put together, not per question, okay? And roughly, this is a useful exercise because several of the college essays will be based on this material only. So it's not like you're wasting your time. Rather, you're developing a database of life stories which we can later pick and choose from as we are writing the essays. So this is a very useful exercise. People take about 5 to 15 days. That is the range that people take for this phase. And once you start, this is usually, or rather, this is always where you will be starting, okay? And after this, I will review the stories. I will review your resume. I will review your GMAT. I will review where you have studied, what kind of company you have worked for, how selective these places are. So we have an idea of how selective IITs are, how selective NITs are, how selective, Mumbai University, Delhi University, all these places are, right? Jadavpur, for example, or BHU, right? Roorkee. So that is the first signal. And then we also have some level of selectivity for the companies as well. Not everybody is able to get into some of the top companies in India. So there's a certain amount of selectivity there as well. So that all adds value. Then what kind of GPAs do you have? What kind of GMATs do you have? So based on this, I'll be able to develop a short list for you. Okay. Now, typically what we'll do is we'll split it up into buckets. There's a stretch college bucket, there's a target college bucket, and there's a safety college bucket. Now, the idea here is in the target colleges, if you apply to 2 or 3, you should be able to get into 1 or 2. That's the idea here. In the stretch colleges, we will apply to 1 or 2, but more often than not, these may not work out, okay? It's a very rare event for them to work out. The reason we put it in is because we want to see what if the shortlist is wrong, and what if you're actually able to target a higher ranked college, right? And the safety is for making a mistake in the other direction. What if your what if your and my understanding of the target itself is wrong and your profile is actually weaker than what we have perceived it to be? Then we need a safety. So the idea of the safety college being, if you apply to 2 or 3 colleges there around, for most of the time, you should be able to get into all those colleges. Very rarely you'll be getting a reject from them. So that is a basic understanding of stretch, target, and safety. So we'll select colleges from these 3 buckets. And then we'll start working on the essays, the resume, and the letters of recommendation. Now, there are 2 kinds of packages that we offer. The first one is the comprehensive package. The second one is the ultra package. In the comprehensive package, if it is a 3-school comprehensive package, we'll have 1 call per college, which means we'll have a total of 3 calls. If it's a 5-school comprehensive package, we'll have 5 calls. And each call is 1 hour, right? So for every college, we'll have a 1-hour brainstorming call. In the ultra package, we do not limit the number of calls, but we have a soft limit, which is if you have a call today, then we need a 7-day gap to schedule the next one, right? Because we have other people also working with us and we need to set up calls for them also, right? So that is the basic idea. Now, what will happen is, let's say, you choose whatever package you want to choose, but we'll set up a brainstorming call. And then in the brainstorming call, we'll discuss the essay question that the college has asked. And for that essay question, what are the relevant life experiences that you have that you may be able to share, right? So remember, in the first phase, you took 5 to 10 days and maybe wrote about 1,500 to 2,000 words of life stories. Now we'll be drawing from those life stories. And we'll figure out which life story is most appropriate for which essay question, right? For example, Yale had a question called, what is the biggest commitment you have made, right? So maybe you said you're working in a refinery, right? And within the refinery, maybe there was a difficult task that you had to take up at some point. So you would say that was a very dangerous task, but it was important for the company, for somebody to do it. And I made the commitment that I would finish it up, right? That's one possibility. I'm not saying that's the only possibility. I'm just saying that's one possibility. It is also possible that in the personal sphere, you come from an underdeveloped area of India. And one of the commitments you have made is every year you will support 5 kids for education from your, your town or village or whatever it is, right? Or rather than that, every summer you will go and teach in a school there or something along those lines. That is the commitment you have made. So like that, there could be like 4 or 5 different commitments you've made in life. And we'll evaluate each one of those. And then we'll try to identify what aspects of your personality are coming out from each story. And we'll pick something that seems to be the best balanced approach, right? Something that has a lot of impact and something that is also reflective of your personality, right? So that's the kind of story we'll choose. And then I'll help you put together a bullet point outline for the essay. If you write based on the bullet point structure, typically the essay should be easy to finish. So that is where we will close our call. We will finish this in the 1-hour call, and then we'll close it. And then you'll write all the essays and you'll share the draft with me. I'll take about 2-3 days to review, and then I'll give you my comments on how you can improve this. Okay, so that is the next step. Then you send me another draft, I'll send you more comments. Send me another draft, I'll send you more comments. We'll keep going back and forth till we get it right. Similar process for the essays, similar process for the letters of recommendation as well. Okay. The next step in which we help you with is the interview process. Now, in the interview process, in our 3-school comprehensive, it is not there by default. We charge separately for it. In our 5-school comprehensive, we are including 2 mock interviews by default. So in addition to the 5 brainstorming calls, we'll also have 2 mock interviews. In our 3-school ultra and 5-school ultra, we don't have any limits on interview prep. Any number of calls, provided there is a 7-day gap between 2 calls. Okay, so that is the basic idea. It'll be a proper mock interview. I'll take you through all the stages of the interview. I'll look at how you're answering the questions, and I'll give you my feedback on how you can improve your answers. Okay, so this is the basic structure of our package. And supporting this, we also have about 8 to 10 hours of video content. And these cover various stages of the application process, starting from how to make your LinkedIn profile to how to reach out to candidates, students and alumni in order for networking. Then we have done some complete workshops on certain essays from a previous year. So you'll have access to those videos as well. And then there are about 2 hours on how to approach the interview preparation also. So that is also there. So all of these videos will be provided to you. So that is the structure of the package. Does that answer your question, Shravan?
Yeah, that does. Thank you, Karthik.
Okay. In terms of pricing, for the 3-school comprehensive, we charge 1,95,000 plus GST. For the 5-school comprehensive, we charge 2,50,000 plus GST. For the 3-school ultra, we charge 2,75,000 plus GST. And for the 5-school ultra, we charge 3,40,000 plus GST. GST is at 18%. Okay. Any other questions, people? Okay. What I would request is, Shravan, I don't know if you have shared your resume already, but if you haven't, please do. And if you're interested in working with us, we are happy to work with you as well. Priyanshu, I know we've had a few conversations. You're still an early career professional, and I know that you're wanting to start college as soon as possible. I can understand it because I've also been there, but I would really want you to finish up the GMAT, take 2-3 years, and
okay.
that would be giving you the best possible option. Yeah.
Thank you. Do you also offer your consultancy for executive MBA in India also? Like if I want to give GMAT and work with it, do an executive MBA in India.
See, the executive MBA will be open to you only when you have 7-8 years of experience. Okay, so
some IIMs like Kozhikode and they were just having it for 3 years. I am Kozhikode, I am Udaipur, like this.
Then we can do it. That's not an issue. Yeah. If the college is specifying the requirement as such, then sure, we are happy to help you with that. Yeah.
Karthik, just one more question. What if somebody wants to go for only one school or 2 schools? So do you have do you have any pricing for that, or you don't do for one school?
We'll have to customize that. It's not financially very viable for us, but we'll definitely see how we can collaborate on it. So you can write to me, and then I can see if something can be worked out. We may not be able to deviate much from the pricing provided for the 3-school packages, but definitely it has to be lower than the 3-school. We understand that as well. So we'll have to work it out in a way in which it is financially viable for us and viable for you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, definitely, sure. All right, people. So very nice catching up, and please stay in touch. And we also have our WhatsApp group. So by all means, please feel free to join the WhatsApp group. I know Priyanshu is there. Shravan, I'm not sure if you're there or not. Wish you all the best with your applications and your future. All right. Take care, everyone. All the best.